Hey, Jordy. Before the game, we were in here talking. You were talking about the guys kind of learning lessons and how to close these games out, how to close out close finishes. What of those lessons did you see them put into practice down the stretch when this game could have gotten quite hairy?
Yeah, I thought it was the consistency. You look at the first quarter, we didn't start very well. All right, and not because of we were not trying, but mistakes, not making free throws, lost that first quarter by 12, and then after that, consistently, we won all three quarters. And even though it was third and fourth by 1 point, that just gives you confidence, and you know that you are in it in every play. Mistakes happen, but the guys kept bringing it in the huddle, talking to each other. And at the end of the day, we saw that growth. We were better on the boards. They scored 13 second chance points to our 16. Our pressure, we didn't turn the ball over. 7 turnovers for 4 points is elite. And then, 15 for 19 for them. So, we had energy, we had pressure. We had to put 2 on the ball, especially with Luka. That opens up somebody else. They have a lot of good shooting, especially Gabe. He had a great game, 6 for 9 from 3. But I thought the scramble and the energy, the communication was very good. So happy for the guys, proud of the guys. Because after losing 7 in a row, I believe it was, it's just good to, to get back to winning. And tomorrow we'll have a tough one. So that's just good for, it's a good reward for the work. And obviously, after a bad one, just a good feeling.
You just touched on it briefly, but you guys hold Luka and Austin Reeves to 11 of 40 from the floor. Just what were the points of emphasis on them, and what were the keys to slowing them down so much?
Yeah, I think sometimes you bring the energy and you're flying around, and when you put 2 on the ball, you're opening up something else. And sometimes you just got to get lucky that guys like them that can score in bunches, they're not having the night. So it's a two-way street. I think our energy was good. You see right there, if my math is correct, it's 39 shots, which is a lot of shots. And, credit to our guys, like Z did a great job and everybody else, Tyrese, Keon. But I think the whole team did a really good job, and, our energy was there, and that's the reason why we came up with a win.
Obviously, guys like CJ, guys like Keon, they've been, starting for you for most of the year. But when you look at some of the bench guys like Tyrese, what do you make about how the bench performed tonight, especially against this Lakers team that is missing, some significant players?
Yeah, I think we're all missing players, and it's part of the NBA. But I'm happy with the effort that all 10 players brought on the court. And even though we made mistakes, they held each other accountable. They talked to each other, encouraged each other, and that's the best thing to see. Tyrese really helped us. He shot it well from 3. Noah off the bench. I thought all the group of the bench was good. They ran with 7 rebounds in 16 minutes, 17 minutes. So, I think everybody brought positive to the game. Reese made his first 3 in the NBA. Like, you go, every single guy down the line, and I think they all brought positives. Can we be better? Can we make less mistakes? For sure, we'll watch it after OB's side out and baseline. We have to be better because we were not matched up and we were confused. But other than that, those, are things that we as coaches have to correct. I think the energy and the effort of our guys was outstanding.
Jordi, there in crunch time, you got big plays from just about everyone that was on the court, especially on the offensive end. Zaire with the big rebound, D'Lo with a bucket, Cam with a bucket, and obviously Noah there at the end. How big is that, or I guess how satisfying is it as a coach to kind of see every single guy making a big impact there at the end?
Yeah, you said it. It's just great when you don't, just go to the same guy over and over, because I think you're easier to guard. And you see guys making big plays, and at some point it was D'Lo and CJ playing the two-man game, and trying to, move around and get open. Then D'Lo had a big bucket, and then Z with the big offensive rebound. I think his offensive rebound was the key because, we go back to the Charlotte game, and yes, we didn't defensive rebound, but our crashing rules and our ability to crash and get those second chance points, we didn't even put effort into it. And you realize, you go down to games that we've won, how many times in the fourth quarter we've had big offensive rebounds. And that's playoff basketball, if you think about it. So we need that growth. We need to understand that that is very important late in the game.
You kind of just answered my question, because during pregame I asked you about just what was the message to the team. You said rebounding has to be better, and you mentioned about it's kind of like being a parent and, you know, watching your team and your guys just kind of learn from it. But what does it mean to have a team that listens to you and then they respond like this, especially from the glass and the second chance points?
Yeah, I think that, you know, these guys care so much about what we do on a daily basis, and they put the work in. And obviously, you know, I can tell them what I believe, you know, we have to do, but at the end of the day is, you know, like, they don't like when we lose. They put the work in, and today is a different game. Obviously, the message about rebounding is important, and we as coaches are going to try to help them all the time. Like I always say, I don't think we have all the answers, but the intentions so far have been great, and today was, you know, like, it was an example. Our intentions were very, very good. How connected we were. Were we perfect? No, we made a lot of mistakes that we can correct, but that's the path that we want to take, is get 1% better. You know, and a year from now, we'll be a different team.
Noah, this Lakers team tried to make things interesting in those last closing out minutes. Just what had to happen for you guys to close it out down the stretch and get back in this win column?
Big defensive possessions, and they scored a lot of points late. But on the other end, we kept making sure we was getting good shots too. And so, you know, led us ultimately coming down and maintaining the lead that we had built over the course of those second through fourth quarters.
After that first quarter, just what was the biggest difference maker for you guys, and kind of what ignited everything for you all as a group?
As a group, I don't know, maybe just didn't want to lose. For me personally, I knew my shot wouldn't fall in at to start the game, so I had to find a way to impact the game otherwise. So I start crashing harder, trying to get the ball out quick, get us going. When I get defense rebounds, offensively just trying to get it and, you know, get us extra possession.
No, twofold. Going back to the rebounding, I mean, was that a big point of emphasis that Jordi had been making coming into this, just doing a better job on the glass, dealing with his team?
Yeah, I think so. After the Charlotte game, obviously we got killed on the glass, and that's the reason we lost that game. So, yeah. And for me personally, it's just I got to be better on that, and so I'm taking my steps now to do that.
And now that you're back and healthy, whatever, about a quarter of the season left, what are some of the things that you personally either want to work on, or some of the things that the coaches have told you that they want to see down the stretch with the rest of the season that you have left?
Just keep striving to be better. Got to shoot more consistently. Want to be able to get to the rim, finish better, and close out defense. Want to be able to close out and contain anybody.
How did that dunk feel at the last 10 seconds of the game?
To be honest, I thought I smoked it. So at first, like, what was it? We were up 2. I don't know how much we were up. So at first I caught it, and I kind of hesitated for a second. I'm like, do I need to go score this, or do I need to, like, dribble it out? And I was like, no, I'm going to dunk this, because I'm the indecision. I wasn't finna deal with it. So I just want to dunk. But that's why I didn't get that high off the ground. So I thought I smoked it. But when I heard the whistle, I was cool regardless. So I knew I wasn't finna miss the free throws.
Noah, you missed about a month with that ankle. First, how's the ankle feeling now that you've been back a couple of games?
It's just good. You get soreness here and there, but nothing out of the ordinary. I think I'm back healthy for the most part.
And after the way you played tonight, how does it feel trying to get back in the rhythm with this team, especially since you were off the court for so long?
I think tonight was a big step in the right direction for me, getting back in the rhythm that I've been playing with. I think I was playing pretty well before I went down, and then when I went down, obviously my first game back wasn't super strong, so I wanted to get a win more than anything, and I ended up having a good performance in that process. So.
Noah, free basketball, it's something that D'Angelo expressed when he came back to this Brooklyn Nets squad. In big wins as such, I mean, like, is this something that you feel has bled into the team atmosphere? Is this something that you guys just play with? Is it, I guess, does it come as a part of the team culture?
You could say that, yeah. I think the ability, knowing that there aren't very many restrictions, like he's not coming in the locker room telling you, no, you don't get to shoot that, you don't get to do that. It allows us to play free and confident, and we just make plays for each other. We know what we want to do, and he tells us what we want to do, but he doesn't come in and ever tell us, like, we don't need to do, like, don't do this, don't shoot that, don't shoot that. And I think that's good for our confidence and how we play down the stretch.
Down the stretch there, you had a big bucket, but felt like everybody did. Zaire had the big putback, Noah the and one in there at the end, and obviously D'Lo's three off your pass. Just how valuable is that in kind of a modern NBA where usually it's kind of one guy that everything runs through, that you're kind of able to have a full-headed attack there at the end?
Very valuable. On one hand, it shows the trust that we have in each other to make plays when we're called upon. On the other hand, it's guys that can step up and make those plays. So, big-time contributions and big-time moments across the board, and resulted in a win.
Cam, obviously you guys from the beginning of the game were trying to get the ball out of Luka's hands, trying to get the ball out of Austin's hands, but when you guys are seeing players like Gabe Vincent, Jordan Goodwin, pretty much making every shot that comes their way, did that make you question whether that was the right defensive strategy over the course of the game?
No. Just stick with it. Trust the process, trust what we're doing. And, 19-point second quarter, we felt like we were getting headway even though they were making shots. And, just sticking to that script and trusting our principles.
When it comes to those principles on the defensive side, after that first quarter, what did you guys lock in on that allowed you to get the stops that you needed, and then how did that just kind of fuel the offense?
A little bit more attention to detail on rotations and getting to those shooters. I think they started off really hot, making a lot of threes, and I think we did a good job of trying to limit that. I know they still ended up 19 for 40, but in the process kind of speeding them up, forcing turnovers, and getting out and running.
And then what opened up for you guys when it comes to everyone felt like was making a three? Kind of what opened up for you guys from downtown, and how did that kind of just trickle down to everybody?
Their defense does a really good job and has a high focus on protecting the paint and contesting at the rim and closing down. So for us, an emphasis was spraying the ball and finding those looks, and we had guys knock them down today.
How much more difficult can rebounding be in general when you're really playing up the floor on defense? And then how do you think you were able to both play up the floor, create turnovers, and take care of the defensive glass tonight?
It is more difficult. You have that space in the middle of the court where the offense kind of has the vantage point. Guys crashing from the corners and stuff like that. But just that effort. I think Noah came up with a big one. Zaire is always kind of lurking around the paint to come away with a couple of rebounds. And, we have guys that are really capable rebounders. So making sure that we didn't get hurt. I think we got hurt pretty bad in Charlotte on the boards, and making sure that didn't happen today.
Cam, you were talking about your rotations being solid defensively. I'm curious, for a guy who missed 5, maybe 6 weeks with an injury, I mean, Noah looked like some of his rotations and some of his recoveries were really impressive defensively. Just how impressive was it to see a guy who had been out for that long come in and make that kind of impact on both sides of the court?
Yeah, very. What he's able to bring to the table. He can shoot the ball. He understands the game. He's growing in that department. And for him to come back and have an impact like he did today, I mean, it's tough. Anybody who knows, I mean, the kid's 20 years old. He's young. And it's difficult to come back from being out for a while and to find your flow. And I think it was a little tough on him maybe the first couple minutes out there, but he kept his head up and stayed with it and made some big plays for us tonight and was a big reason we came away with the win. So I got to give him a lot of credit on that end.